Yo, what up? Toshi here. Huo Huo has finally arrived, and first of all, I have won my first 50-50 in Honkai Star Rail. Isn't that saying a lot, honestly? But she's a character that I don't regret pulling. I just have found a problem with the character right now, which actually ended up getting fixed in the upcoming version notes, whatever they call the dev notes. So in the various gameplays I have for you in this video, I'm honestly went through a lot of rounds using the character in various team comps. I used her with Daniel, I've used her with Seal, I've used her with Clara. Honestly, my favorite teams consisted of using her with Clara and Seal, which we'll get into that and exactly why I like using those teams. I also used her with the Silver Wolf, Bronya composition with Seal, which worked really well as well. The best comps I've found with the character so far has been with double DPS, so in this case, Seal and Clara, and I found her really good with Daniel Hypercarry using Yukong, Tingyun, and Huo Huo for Danhen Lanai. Now, for the comp with Daniel, I found actually having E2 on your Daniel means you can utilize Huo Huo better than other players, because if you use Huo Huo with Daniel and you have Eidolon 2, you're able to take advantage of the fact that you actually end up getting 2 ults in one turn. Yes, you can get 2 ults in one turn with Danhen Lanai. So how this works is you use your ultimate once you have it on Daniel, and then once the turns start, your Yukong, you have Eidolon 6 for Yukong, maybe use her, maybe you don't. You use your Eidolon 6 ultimate Yukong once Daniel takes his turn, and then once you do use your ultimate on Daniel, you'll use Tingyun's ult, and then Tingyun will give the energy to Daniel, and then you will have Huo Huo ult, and then Huo Huo will use her ult on everyone else, and then everyone will generate energy, but Daniel will get energy as well. And once you use your enhanced basic attack, right, the 3 stack on Daniel, you'll save skill points, but then you'll generate energy, and then you'll have your ultimate again. So that means you'll then take the turn again, and then you'll have 2 more skill points to work with for your enhanced basic attack. So it's like this double ult, essentially, this double turn you get with Danhen Lanai. It's kind of insane, and it saves you so many skill points because of the energy you get to go towards the ult, which means you don't use skill points, whenever you do use your enhanced basic attack. You only use like 1 skill point per enhanced basic attack rotation. It is insane how strong she is for Danhen Lanai. I cannot believe this character did get buffed. As for Clara, the reason why Huo Huo works really well with this character is because the buffs that Huo Huo provides to Clara, the energy regeneration, is very good for a character that wants to have her ult as often as possible. Furthermore, the attack increase she does give to Clara is very beneficial because Clara is a character that you virtually want 0 speed on. When you use her in the team comp with Bronya, you're going to find out that the crit damage and the attack buff you get from Huo Huo and the crit damage you get, did I say crit damage from Huo Huo? I meant crit damage from Bronya, the attack buff from Huo Huo. You put both of those buffs on Clara, and then Clara can sit there, be a meat shield, counterattack the enemy, and deal massive damage. All while your Seal is taking turns and nuking the enemies with all the buffs she gets from not only Bronya, but Huo Huo as well. I found this double DPS comp to be very good with the new character. As I said before, if you are using a Silver Wolf on a DPS build, you're going to find using Huo Huo really fun, because you don't even have to use any of your skill points to buff up Silver Wolf. Honestly, if you have Silver Wolf Eidolons, you're going to find it even more fun to use Huo Huo. But the attack increase, right, the 40% attack increase, the 20% energy regeneration makes this character get her ult consistently. I don't even have an energy regeneration rate rope on this character, and I also don't even have her 4-star best installed light cone. I'm using her 5-star light cone, and I still got her ult very comfortably, and I was able to nuke the enemy and deal so much damage without, again, having this character buffs from Bronya. It is insane. As for Tingyun, I found Tingyun to be really good if you are using Meshing Cogs on Tingyun with Huo Huo. Meshing Cogs allows this character to get her ult more consistently because you're getting energy whether or not you are attacked or you are attacking the enemy. That energy will make Tingyun a very nice character, and once you actually do use Meshing Cogs because you get energy when you attack instead of using your elemental skill, you can play Tingyun more as a skill point positive Harmony character, which is very nice in a team with a skill point neutral healer such as Huo Huo. For Daniel, if you plan to use him in a way where you want to get your ultimate 2 times in 1 rotation. Otherwise, if you're not using these 2 characters alongside him, you won't be getting your ult, 2 times in 1 rotation, because there's no other way you're able to do that, because there's no other characters in the game that provides energy. Now, I actually do not have Kafka on my main account, but I'm sure Kafka is amazing with Huo Huo, right? I treat her like I would treat any other hyper carry character. You essentially funnel ult charge to this character, and she deals so much more damage with her ultimate, right? And the attack increase is very good for damage over time teams, right? We talked about this in many videos. And I mean, if you're planning on using Kafka as a hyper, honestly, if you, there's not many people out there that have Eidolon 6 on your Kafka, but if you do, and you use Tingyun and you use Huo Huo, you're going to find Kafka to be a very strong hyper carry damage dealer. It is insane how strong these two characters, Huo Huo and Tingyun, are in conjunction with all the other damage dealers in the game as hyper carry. Now, as for Lycoons, I use post-op conversation, and I found this to be very reliable for getting your ult as consistently as possible. Now, do take into consideration my Huo Huo. Let's just go over her build really quickly. I have 148 speed, but honestly, having high speed means you can generate more energy. You're going to take more turns. That's very good for a character that has a very high ultimate cost. I have 65 effect resistance. Honestly, I would say 70% is a great stopping point. 70% means you can resist most debuffs in the game. There is some that may end up hitting you, like Kafka, for instance, but I found 70%, 65 to be a very good amount of effective resistance on this character. Furthermore, I have 140% energy regeneration rate. Now, keep in mind, if you do not have some of the things I have, like I think everyone should be wearing a energy regeneration rate link rope on this character. So that is 19% energy regeneration rate. And then I do have the planar set, which gives 5% energy regeneration rate. And she takes the turn at the start of the battle, which means she automatically uses her elemental skill. She gets energy, right? And she benefits from just taking the turn first. So overall, I found this, that gives you 124 energy regeneration rate, which is pretty good. And then if you have this Lycoon at Eidolon 1, you're getting 8%. So then you'll have 132 energy regeneration rate. But if you have this Lycoon at Refinement 5, you're giving her 140% energy regeneration rate in total. And that allowed my Huo Huo to get her ult after using elemental skill, basic, elemental skill, and then she basics again, and then she has her ultimate. That has been the rotation I've been using with her, and has been very reliable. But do keep in mind that that can change depending on how many times you get hit by the enemy. And the fact of the matter is that Huo Huo does have a trace that gives her energy whenever an ally does end up triggering her talent. I found Shared Feeling to be very good in the character because the outgoing healing increase you get is so good for her. She needs that extra bit of boost to her overall healing, and then the energy you give to your allies whenever you use your skill is also pretty good. For some characters, that may make or break their ultimate, right? So this is a very nice Lycoon in the character. Again, I found that both Lycoons post-up conversation Shared Feeling to have around the same amount of value on the character, because the healing you get on this makes up for the fact that you end up having less energy regeneration rate on the other Lycoon, because you're going to increase your overall healing more. Now, I have not tested quid pro quo, but I imagine this will be very good in the character. I still have to level it up, but once I do have it leveled up, I will be testing it out on hyper carry teams, such as a team with Daniel, and I probably try it out in the team with Seal and Clara as well, because I imagine that these two will benefit from having the energy restored from this Lycoon as well, and Tingyun teams as well. And honestly, I've found that you don't even need to have energy regeneration rate on the character in the form of Lycoon. You can instead use perfect timing, which increases your effect resist by a nice amount depending on the refinement of the Lycoon, and the outgoing healing depending on the amount of effect resist that you have on the character. This is very good because it ensures that your Huo Huo will never be CC'd, and you'll give much more healing with the effect resist you'll have on the character. So you complete both stats you'll need on any healer in the game anyways. So just use whatever Lycoon you have on your account. But if you have no options, then I would go with quid pro quo, because this is going to give the best bang for your buck, and it is a Lycoon you can max out eventually without having to depend on the gacha. So as it stands currently, I still need to do more testing on Huo Huo. This is going to be my first day review of the character. Honestly, I really do like her, and I think she is amazing. I cannot wait for I heard they were adding members of Chaos 11 and 12, so I imagine with me saying how overkill she is for teams right now, especially Daniel teams, you'll probably find in your best interest to use her on those higher stages of Memories of Chaos, because the extra energy and damage she does provide to your allies is going to increase her value greatly. And for dot teams, she will be best in slot. And there's one last thing top on my build on my Huo Huo. She does not have any set. I mean, the only set she does have is the 5% energy regeneration planar set. But other than that, she literally has no relic set, because you don't need any relic set. You just need stats on the character. That's going to be the video here. I was testing Huo Huo teams for about 2 hours after she did launch in Honkai Star Rail, and I will continue testing more teams out to decide whether or not I think she is a valuable character. Honestly, if I had to be honest, I think she is a very valuable character to pull, but do you really need her right now? No, but for some teams, man, she feels really good. Like Daniel teams, hypercarry Daniel teams, hypercarry. I imagine hypercarry Jinglu team. She feels the same as you would with using her with Daniel, right? And honestly, I am sure she's gonna be really good in Kafka dot teams. You need that extra little bit of energy for your damage dealers to get their ult consistently, right? So that's where I think she shines as being that fourth slot character that essentially boosts your team's damage and energy gain greatly. And that's all you can ask for from a healer. Don't forget, she also cleanses and heals every single debuff on your characters. That's the video here. Thank you for watching, and have a nice rest of your day. Peace.